Thunderbirds are go.
All right, I think for the first action for Gordon, he's going to move from Australia back to the South Pacific and back to Tracy Island. Well, I made a little oversight in strategy. I should have had Alan, before he ended his turn, use this technology token, and he could have built that other pod vehicle that we need to solve the fire from the sky scheme. We need to get the Firefly, and I should have done that because I could have loaded the Firefly onto Thunderbird 2. We could have transferred there and then transported that over to South America. So that's a little oversight on my part. But I guess for Gordon's purposes, I think he's just going to stay where he is. He does have this ability once per turn. You may spend an action to draw a determination token if you are in Thunderbird 4. So we'll do that. We'll give him a determination token. That allows us to take an extra action if we choose, so that's good. I guess for his third action, he's just going to remain on Tracy Island. We could take a fab card, but it would move up the hood, so we don't want to do that. So we'll go to our draw disaster card step. And our next draw is, they call him Mr. X. It's going to take place in Asia. So these cards will slide down. We're up to 4 now. This card is a air rescue that's going to take place in Asia and has a strength of 8. And we would gain bonuses for the mobile crane, the Thunderizer, and the Domo. All right. It's going to end Gordon's activations. We'll move the dice to Parker. Parker is also on Tracy Island. All right, for Parker's first action, I think he's going to, he'll take an operation. We're going to load Fab 1 into Fab 2. And then as an action, Parker is going to move. We have a speed of 2 with Fab 2, and we're going to move back towards Europe. So he'll move 1 and 2 into Asia, and then he's going to take a second action to move back into Europe. We do have a card, a disaster card, called The Perils of Penelope. That's a land adventure that takes place in Europe. We need a strength of 7 there. So I think for Parker's third action, we're going to attempt to solve this Perils of Penelope. All right, we need a strength of 7. Now we're going to gain +1 for Lady Penelope, and then Parker's going to be able to add 2 to the rescue if you're in Fab 1 or Fab 2 when you roll. So he's currently in Fab 2, so we'll be gaining a total of +3. And we need a 7, so here's the roll. Let's hope we don't get any adverse die results. And we've done it. We've rolled 6. That is pretty good. And we've completed that mission. And it says, foil Dr. Godber's evil plan to steal the secret of Hodge and Borender's new rocket fuel. All right, so we've solved that. We'll give that to Parker. That's his second disaster card that he has solved. And we're going to gain, we also gain a reward of 1 determination token. So we'll give that to Parker. All right. And that's going to complete Parker's turn. Now we've solved that disaster, that's great, but now we have to draw another one. All right, here's our next disaster, and it is the Mighty Atom. It takes place in Africa. It's a strength of 10. So we'll move these cards down and place that in slot 1. It takes place in Africa, strength of 10. It is a land rescue. We would gain bonuses for Thunderbird 4 and Lady Penelope. All right. And then we'll pass the dice, and it will be Alan Tracy's turn. All right, I think to start out Alan's turn, we're going to attempt to solve this imposters disaster once more. We're going to gain +2 for Scott, and we're going to gain +2 for Alan in his space rescue ability. So we're at +4. So we'll make the roll. We need a total of 9. Okay, here is the roll. And we've rolled a 4. So we've got 4 + 4 is 8. That's not enough. But Alan Tracy has a determination token and a teamwork token. I think we'll use the teamwork token. That'll give us a +2 to the result. So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's enough to complete the imposters. So we're going to gain a logistics token and a determination token. That's great. So we'll get a logistics and determination token and give those to Alan. All right, this goes back into the supply. And that card is solved. And we will put that under Alan's card to work towards his level 3 status. So we can remove that disaster token from there, and now let's see what Alan's going to do for his second action. I think he's going to return to Tracy Island. We've completed all of the primary missions that were up in that Earth's orbit and beyond. So his next action will be to move back to the South Pacific and back to Tracy Island. That's his second action. All right, Alan is going to use the technology token that he has, and we're going to create one of the pod vehicles that will help us solve that next scheme. And we need the Firefly, so let's build that. We'll build the Firefly. I think we'll do an operation. We're going to transfer Alan to Thunderbird 2, and then we're going to load that pod vehicle. And I think also as a part of that operation, we're going to move Gordon into Thunderbird 2 as well. And we'll put him in the vehicle, and that would give us the ability then to solve that upcoming scheme. And I think for his third and final action, we're going to do a movement with Thunderbird 2, and we're going to move to South America. So it'll be a 1 move, and we're going to drop off as an operation the pod vehicle that we need to solve the next scheme. Now we need to get to the South Atlantic with 2 intelligence tokens. So we won't be able to do that this turn, or at least with Alan, but we're very close to being able to solve that. That's great. And here's our next disaster draw, and we've got Venomous, and that takes place in Australia, and it's an air mission. So we'll slide these down, and this Venomous mission takes place in Australia. It's a strength of 10, an air rescue. We get benefits for Fab 1 and for the Ladybird jet in Africa. And that's going to complete Alan's turn. We'll move the dice to Gordon, and we'll see what happens next. All right, Gordon Tracy is up next, and he is in Thunderbird 2, and he's going to do a move. It'll be his first action. He's going to move into the South Atlantic, and we're going to solve our second scheme. And this scheme says, fire from the sea. In the South Atlantic, we have to give up 2 intelligence tokens, and that's what Gordon is going to do. He's got 2 intelligence tokens. He'll give those up. And then also we need to have in South America the Firefly and the Thunderizer, and we do. Both of those are there, so we have solved this scheme. And it says, foil the Hood's plan to attack the atomic plant at Montevideo with explosive penguins. We get to draw a FAB card, so let's do that. And the FAB card is Agent 47 Jeremiah Tuttle. Reveal any one scheme card on the Hood track, or the current player may collect one intelligence token. Well, I think we're going to use it for the intelligence token, so we'll save that card for now because the third scheme is going to be revealed right now. And the final scheme now. If we can solve this, we'll win the game. We need 2. It's called Sea of Disquiet. In Europe, we have to collect 4 intelligence tokens. And then on the moon, we have to have 2 logistics tokens. And that will win us the game. All right. Incidentally, solving that scheme in the South Atlantic was not an action. That is an operation. So Gordon has 2 actions left. And I think we're going to try to move him back to Tracy Island, and we can reconfigure some of the players there. So we'll move him 2 spaces, which is the speed of Thunderbird 2, and he's back at Tracy Island. All right, back at Tracy Island, I think Gordon is going to transfer into a different vehicle. I'm going to have him transfer into the Ladybird craft. It's going to help us solve this disaster that we have in Australia. So I think at the same time, I'm also going to move Ellen Tracy back into Thunderbird 3. Those are operations that doesn't take any actions from us. And I think for the third action for Gordon, he's going to move in the Ladybird jet, which has a speed of 2. He'll move into Australia. All right. We'll move on to the next step, and that's to draw the disaster card. We'll see what we've got this time. This time we have Atlantic Inferno. It's going to take place in the South Atlantic. It'll be a sea rescue. We get bonuses for Thunderbird 4 and for Scott Tracy. So we'll move our cards down the track and place Atlantic Inferno in slot 1. So these cards will slide down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Then we're going to pass the dice, and it will be Parker's turn. All right, Parker and Lady Penelope are currently in Europe, and they're on Fab 2. Fab 1 is in transit with that. So we're going to have him do a move action, and I think we're going to move to Asia first of all. We'll move to Asia, and we're going to drop off the Fab 1 there. That'll be an operation. That'll set us up for another disaster that we'll be trying to solve in the future. For the second action, Parker is going to move into the North Pacific. And then for his third action, he's going to attempt to solve this disaster that was in the number 5 slot called Target Tiger 1. It's in the North Pacific. It's an air rescue, and we're going to gain +3 if Fab 1 is in Asia, which we've already done that. We've got it there. So we'll make the roll and see what happens. Now we're going to gain +2 also for Parker's ability. It says add +2 to rescue if you are in Fab 1 or Fab 2 when you roll. So that's what we've got. We'll make the roll and see what happens. We're going to be gaining a total of +5 to the roll. We're looking for a final result of 9 or better. We've rolled 3 and we gain +5. That's 8. That's not enough. Let's see what we've got here. Parker has an intelligence token, and I think he's going to spend that. That will allow him to re-roll 1 die. So we'll re-roll the 1 and see if we can do better. We rolled a 5. We've done it. We've got a total of 7. +5 is 12. That's going to solve the Target Tiger 1 disaster. It says prevent the WAF Wombat being hijacked in the Arctic Circle by the Svalbard gang. Okay, so we're going to gain a determination token and an intelligence token for solving that. That's great. We'll give those to Parker. And now that Parker has solved this disaster, that's his third disaster, we'll trade those cards in and we can get Parker's level 2 upgrade. It's going to give him an extra ability. Says you can take the move action to remotely move Fab 1 or Fab 2 even if you're in another space. That's very good. All right, so Parker's been upgraded. That's great. All the players now are at level 2, and that's outstanding. That's going to bring Parker's turn to a close. We'll move on to drawing another disaster. This time the card is the Hood Advances. Advance the Hood 1 space on the Hood track. Do not advance any disaster cards on the disaster track. That's great. And the flavor text reads, Part 2 of my plan, about to commence. Okay. All right, so the Hood will advance 1 space. It's closing in on this next event that will be occurring. And then we pass the dice and it will be Alan's turn. All right, I think Alan is going to transfer into Thunderbird 2. And then we're also going to load in Thunderbird 4 into the pod bay. And I think we're going to move Scott Tracy to Thunderbird Island. And we'll keep him there for the time being. All right, that was an operation. Now Alan is going to take his first action. He's going to do a move action with Thunderbird 2. 1 and 2, and he'll move into the South Atlantic. And I think he's going to attempt to solve, for his second action, attempt to solve Atlantic Inferno with the strength of 8, Sea Rescue, and we're going to gain +2 for Thunderbird 4, and we'll gain +3 if Scott is on Tracy Island, where he is. We'll be gaining +5 for this. So this is our second action. We'll attempt to solve this. Here's the roll. We've got a 3 and a Hood movement. So the 3 plus the 5 we're getting for bonuses will solve it. That's no problem. That's going to get us a token of our choice. It says recover Hooper and O'Shea from a diving sphere under the devastated Seascape oil rig. So we've done that. So that's going to gain us a token of our choice, and we definitely need to get intelligence tokens to solve that final scheme. So I think we'll take an intelligence token for Alan, and that's going to solve this, and we'll give that to him. It's his second disaster card towards the 4 he needs to get his next upgrade. So that solves this disaster. We can remove the disaster token from there. And now we have to move the Hood, though. So the Hood is going to move 1 space on the track, and that's going to reveal this next event. This time we've got Rocket Malfunction. Thunderbird 3 has a top speed of 1 until a character in its space discards a technology token. Oh no, that's not good. All right, I think for his final action, Alan is going to move to Africa. So we'll have him move to Africa. It's on the other side of the board. We'll use this Africa movement space to flip over to the other side. So Alan moves to Africa, and that's going to complete his 3 actions. We'll move on now to our draw a disaster card. And our next disaster card is Trapped in the Sky. It's a level 11 disaster. It takes place in Europe, and it is an air rescue. That will go on space 1, and then all of the other cards are going to slide down 1. So these other cards will slide down the track, and we're up to a level 5 now here. So we'll have to get started on trying to solve this one, unless we can solve that last scheme and win the game. All right, Gordon Tracy is up next. He's currently on Ladybird in Australia. I think what he's going to do is we're going to change this around a little bit. I'm going to have him make a move to the North Pacific. Then as an operation, he's going to pick up Lady Penelope. We'll load her into the Ladybird. His second action is going to be a move action, and we're going to move to Africa. The Ladybird has a speed of 2. So we'll move that 1 and 2 into Africa. That'll be his second action. And I think for his third action, he's going to attempt to solve the Mighty Atom disaster. All right, this is the disaster on the 4th slot. It's called the Mighty Atom. And we're going to gain +3 for Thunderbird 4 and +2 for Lady Penelope. This is a land rescue. So we'll be getting +5 for this. We need a total of 10 though. So we'll have Gordon make the roll and see if we can get a total of 10 or better. He rolls an 8. That is outstanding. That gives us a total of 13, and we've solved the Mighty Atom disaster. It says, shut down the atomic irrigation plant in the Sahara Desert before the reactor explodes. That's great. We'll give that disaster card to Gordon, and he's going to gain a technology token and a token of our choice. And I think Gordon is going to take a technology token and a intelligence token. We're going to need those to solve that final scheme. We'll give those to Gordon, and that's going to end the round for him. We've solved that, so we can remove the disaster token, and we'll move on to placing a new disaster. All right, our next disaster is Move and You're Dead. Level 8 strength, South America land rescue, and we get bonuses for the neutralizer tractor and jet air power transport. All right, that's going to move these down the slot. All right, so the existing disasters move down. That's at 6 now. And this new one comes out at number 1. So we're going to probably have to deal with this one in Asia. All right, Parker is up now. He has 3 actions, and we'll start with a move action from Parker. He's going to move into Asia. All right. For his second action, he's going to undertake trying to solve this disaster called They Call Him Mr. X, an air rescue in Asia with a strength of 8. Now, we don't have any of these pod vehicles there, so we're not going to gain any bonuses other than Parker's, which is add 2 to rescues if you are in Fab 1 or Fab 2 when you roll. So we get +2 for this roll, and we'll see what happens. We'll give it a shot. All right, this is Parker's second action. Here's the roll. And he rolls a 4 and a hood. So 4 plus 2 is 6. That's not enough to solve it. So what we can do is Parker's going to use an intelligence token and allow us to re-roll a die we just rolled, and we'll re-roll the hood die. Here's the roll. We've got a 1. That's a total of 5. And we'll be adding in +2 for Parker. Being in Fab 2, that's a total of 7. That's not enough. Got no other way to modify those die rolls, so we failed that one. So I think what we'll do then is we could either try it again, or Parker could also, it says you can take the move action to remotely move Fab 1 or Fab 2 even if you're in another space. So let me see about relocating Fab 1 to another area. And I think Parker's going to try it one more time. I was going to move Fab 2 into Australia, but this one's getting high up the track, so we're going to have to try it. Parker's going to have to try this with a +2 rating of his bonus for Fab 2. We need a total of 8, so we're getting +2. Here's the roll. And we've done it. We've got an 8. +2 is 10. We've solved it. That's outstanding. And that reads, force the hijacked EJ-2 jet to land safely in Hong Kong and rescue the International Air Minister. All right, that's great. Our reward will be a token of our choice. And I think we're going to take an intelligence token. We'll give that to Parker. So that'll be his, we've got a total of 3 intelligence tokens. Each of the characters now has 1. We need a total of 4 of those, plus we need 2 logistics tokens on the moon. And we'll have to see what happens. And I've decided instead of taking a intelligence token, I'm going to take a technology token instead. So we're going to replace that. We need to repair these vehicles. We have those rocket malfunction, which is going to be Thunderbird 3 has only a top speed of 1 until a character in its space discards a technology token. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll take the technology token instead, give that to Parker, and that's going to bring his turn to a close. Now we'll draw our next disaster, and this one is the Duchess assignment. North America, land rescue, strength of 8. All right. Disasters will move down the track, and we'll place the Duchess assignment on number 1. And the dice will be moved to Alan. Alan. All right, Alan's first action, I think, is going to be to take a move action, and we're going to move Thunderbird 2 into Asia. He's going to take an operation, and he'll transfer into Fab 1. And then he's going to take a second action and move Fab 1 into Australia. And then we'll attempt to solve that venomous disaster that's there. All right, this will be his third action then. And we'll attempt to solve this venomous. Now we're going to gain +2 for Fab 1. And we'll gain +3 for Ladybird Jet being in Africa. So we're at +5. We need a total of 10 though. That's pretty tough. So here is the roll. We'll see if we can do this. And we've rolled a 1 and a hood. That's not good. That is not good at all. So right now we have a total of 6. I think what we'll do is we're going to use an intelligence token to re-roll. And we'll re-roll the hood die. See if we can get a better total. Here's the roll. And we rolled another hood. Oh no, not good. Not good. All right, well, at this point we failed that operation. So the hood is going to move up 1. So the hood will move up 1 on the track. And we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away from it breaching the scheme card and losing the game. All right. All right, Alan is out of actions, but he's going to use a determination token to take an extra turn, and we're going to attempt to solve this venomous disaster once again. And we'll make the roll. We're going to get +5 for this roll. We need a total of 10 to solve it. Here's the roll. We've got 6. 6 +2 for Fab 1 and +3 for Ladybird being in Africa. We've done it. We were successful. It says race against time to get the snake serum to Lagos to prevent the spread of a deadly virus. All right, that's great. So Ellen has solved this. We're going to gain an intelligence token and a token of our choice. So let's see what we've got here. I think he's going to take 2 intelligence tokens. He'll take 1 and 1 extra one for that wild card. So he's got a total of 2 intelligence tokens. That's great. All right, and this card will go under his stack. This is his 3rd disaster. He needs another one to level up. I think he's going to use 1 more determination token to take an extra action. He's going to take a move action, and we'll move him back to the South Pacific and into Tracy Island. And I think that's going to end his turn. That's all of his actions, and we'll have to go to the disaster draw. And the next disaster card is Danger at Ocean Deep. It's going to take place in Europe. It's a sea rescue, 7 strength. Okay, we'll move these cards down the track. All right, so these cards will move down now. We're up to a level 4 there. So we've got some time. That's going to bring Alan's turn to a close. We'll pass the dice to Gordon. All right, Gordon is in Africa, and currently he's in the Ladybird Jet. So I'm going to have him do a move action, I think. And I think he'll move 2 spaces into Australia. That's his first action. His second action will be to move to the South Pacific, where he'll return to Tracy Island. And once there, he's going to use a technology token, and he's going to repair the malfunctioning rocket. And now that'll move the speed of Thunderbird 3 back to its normal speed of 3, which is great. And I think then Alan's going to use this card, Agent 47, Jeremiah Tuttle. Reveal any 1 scheme card on the hood track, or the current player may take an intelligence token. So I think he'll do that. He'll take the intelligence token. That'll be his 3rd. And I think for his final action, we're going to do a plan. We're going to take a Fab card, and then we'll advance the hood 1 space. Maybe the Fab card will help us. It's a little bit of a risk, but we'll see what we get. Here's the Fab card. We've got Grandma's Cooking. Move any 1 Thunderbird machine and all characters in it to Tracy Island. Okay, that might be helpful. We'll keep that card. That's good. And now the hood is going to move up on the track. I realize this was a little bit of a risk, but I think it's worth it. So we'll move the hood up. We've still got 1, 2, 3, 4 before we would lose the game. Most importantly, we've managed to repair Thunderbird 3, so we're going to need that to solve this last scheme where we're going to need to go to the moon and deliver 2 of those logistics tokens. And now we'll draw our next disaster. This one is the hood advances. Okay, so the hood's going to advance. We've got no movement on our disasters, and the flavor text reads, "It's working even better than I dared hope it would." All right, so the hood will advance though, unfortunately. All right, the hood advances 1. We're within 3 of losing the game. We've got to solve that sea of disquiet quickly. And we'll move on to Parker's turn. All right, Parker's going to start by doing an operation. We're going to move Virgil Tracy from Thunderbird 2 into Fab 2. And then Parker's going to make a move, and he'll move 2 spaces back to the South Pacific and returning to Tracy Island. And then there he's going to use this Grandma's Cooking card. Move any one Thunderbird machine and all characters in it to Tracy Island. So we'll do that. We'll move back Thunderbird 2 automatically back to Tracy Island. All right, Parker's going to use a technology token, and we're going to repair the damaged Thunderbird 1, which has this Attack of the Zombites card, reducing its speed to 1. So it's back to full speed now, which is great. All right, Parker has 2 actions left, plus he has 2 determination tokens, which will give us extra actions. So I think what we're going to do is Parker is going to transfer to Thunderbird number 2. So we'll put him in there, and then we're going to load the mole. And we can use that to solve the operation in North America. That's going to give us a +2. Okay, that is our transfer. Now he's going to take his second action, and we're going to move to North America. And as an operation, we'll drop the mole off. Our third action will be to return back to Tracy Island. And he has 2 determination tokens, and we're going to use those. And we're going to try to get Fab 1 to Europe so we can solve those. There's 2 disasters in Europe. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to transfer Fab 1 into the cargo hold. And we'll put Alan Tracy on the rocket for now. And I think we'll take Lady Penelope with us. And then we're going to spend one of our determination tokens. And it's going to give us a extra action. And we're going to move to Asia. So 1 and 2, and we're in Asia now. We're going to spend a final determination token and move to Europe. All right. And that's going to be the end of Parker's activations. Now we have to do our disaster card draw. Okay, here is our draw, and we've got Bolt from the Blue. It's going to occur in the Indian Ocean. It's an air rescue with a strength of 9. All right. All right, so these cards are going to slide down, and the new disaster will come out on number 1. Okay, we're going to pass the dice now to Alan, and he is going to start his actions. We've got a disaster in slot 5. It's called Trapped in the Sky. Now, we already have Fab 1 in Europe, and we're going to have, I think, Alan transfer into the Thunderbird, and he's going to fly to Europe, and we'll try to solve that. That's going to get us one of the intelligence tokens that we're going to need to solve that final scheme, and then it'll also give us an extra token. So I think we'll concentrate on that. All right, Alan is going to take an operation, and we're going to transfer him from Thunderbird 3 into Thunderbird 1. Now that we've repaired these, they're back to their normal speeds, which is great. Thunderbird 1 has a speed of 3, so he's going to move from the South Pacific 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, into Europe. And for his second action, we're going to try to solve that trapped in the sky disaster. Now this is a strength of 11, so it's a little tough, but we're going to be gaining +2 for Fab 1, and we're also gaining +2 for Thunderbird 1. So we'll be adding 4 to the dice. We're going to need a 7 result. It's pretty tough, but we'll give it a shot. Here is the roll. Whoops. We've rolled 6. All right, that's not enough. 6 plus 4 is 10. We need an 11. So I guess what we're going to do is use one of our intelligence tokens. I need those to solve the Sea of Disquiet scheme, but we really don't have much of a choice, and we're going to re-roll this 1 result, and maybe we can solve this thing. And we've got a hood. Oh no. That is not good. Well, I'm going to use another intelligence token and re-roll the hood result. Still not enough. Darn it. Oh boy, this really upsets the plans. All right, we're going to have to spend another one, and we'll re-roll that 1. We've got it that time. That took a lot of assets to do, but we've solved it. All right. So we're going to gain an intelligence token and a token of our choice. So let's think about what we need here. Well, we need to have 4 intelligence tokens in Europe, and we need to have 2 logistics tokens on the moon. So right now Alan has a logistics token, and so does Gordon, and Gordon also has an intelligence token. So one of them is going to have to be taken to those tokens to the moon. The other ones will have to remain behind. I guess what we'll do is Alan is going to take 2 intelligence tokens. We'll do it that way. All right, so that solves the trapped in the sky disaster. It says land the Fireflash airliner safely without triggering the bomb attached to the landing gear. That one is solved. Now that is going to be the 4th disaster for Alan, and that's going to allow him to level up. And we'll take a look at his new abilities. Level 3. Now he gains, you may give 1 teamwork token to any player in any space for free at any time. Okay, that's a good one. So now he's that's our first level 3 character. So now we're down to just 1 disaster in Europe, and let's see if we have a chance on solving that. It's called Danger at Ocean Deep. I think we'll try that. That's not too bad. So we're going to try to solve this one. This will be our 3rd action, and it's a sea rescue. It says we gain +2 if Thunderbird 1 is in the North Pacific. Oh, that's not quite what I wanted. Not good. Well, then I think what we'll do instead is I'm going to do a move action, and we're going to move to the North Pacific. So I'll take Thunderbird 1, and we'll move to the North Pacific. That'll set it up at least for Parker. Or Gordon, either one. All right, we'll take our disaster card draw and see what we've got. This time it is Aswan Rising. Takes place in Africa, and we need to have the Ladybird and Thunderbird 4 both in Africa to solve that. All right. Okay, so these cards are going to move down, and the new card is placed in number 1. And we'll pass the dice now to Gordon, Tracy. Well, I think Gordon's going to attempt to solve the Duchess assignment, which takes place in North America. We've already dropped off the mole there. That's going to give us +2. So I think we will attempt to get to North America. So for the first action, Gordon is going to take Ladybird and move to North America. And then we'll attempt to solve that Duchess assignment. All right, for the Duchess assignment, it takes place on land. It's an 8 strength, and we're going to gain +2 for our mole, and that's all we're going to get. So this is pretty tough. We'll give it a shot. This will be the second action for Gordon. And he got an 8. He solved it. That is outstanding. That's going to get us a token of our choice. It says, rescue the kidnapped Duchess of Rayston from the basement of a collapsing derelict house. All right. And I think we're going to take a logistics token, and then Gordon would have 2 logistics tokens, and that would be sufficient for him to solve. If he can get to the moon with those, we'd be able to solve that scheme. So we're going to give that to Gordon. And now Gordon has 1 action remaining. And I think we'll move Gordon back to Tracy Island, and we'll put him in Thunderbird 3, I think. We'll do a transfer there, and then all he has to do is get to the moon, and we'd be able to solve part of that. All right. And I think Gordon is going to spend one of his determination tokens. That'll give him an extra action. And we're going to take Thunderbird 3 and fly that up to geostationary orbit. And then he's going to transfer into Thunderbird 5. And there's a reason for this. There's a special action that we can do when we're in Thunderbird 5. And that is called the, and that's called the scan action. And that allows us to move a disaster card back 1 slot on the disaster track if we're in Thunderbird 5. So that's a communication satellite that would give us, like, in other words, making these disasters, giving us more time because we have more information. So we can at least set it up for that for the next turn, and we'll be able to slide these cards down for 1 action each. Okay, we'll go on to our disaster card draw, and we've got Path of Destruction. It takes place in South America. It's a land rescue. We would gain benefits for Brains and Lady Penelope and the mobile crane. All right. All right, so these cards are going to slide down, and we're up to 6 already. And the problem is this 1 in 6 is going to be a tough one to solve. We don't have any of those pod vehicles built, and it's a strength of 8. So we'll have to try to use that scan ability to move those cards down a little bit, and that would give us a little extra time, I think. That's going to bring Gordon's turn to a close. We'll move on to Parker. Okay, Parker has 3 actions. He's in Europe, so I think we're going to attempt to solve this danger at Ocean Deep in Europe. We're going to be gaining +2 if Thunderbird 1 is in the North Pacific, and we've got it there. So Parker will be gaining that. He also gains +2 if the rescue are if we're in Fab 1 or Fab 2. So we're going to transfer into Fab 1, and that'll get us an extra +2 for this attempt. That's a free operation. So we'll be gaining +4, and we need a total of 7. So this hopefully won't be too bad. Here's his second action, or his first action rather. We've done it. We've got 5. 5 + 4 is 9. We've solved it. It says save a hospital at Oahu and airlift the crew from Ocean Pioneer 2 before the Alsterine explodes. And we're going to gain a technology token for that. That is great. So Parker is going to gain a technology token. All right. Now for his second action. We've solved this one in Europe. And I think Parker's going to have to try to get to South America and maybe move that card down. I'm not sure. I have to get a intelligence token somehow. The only one we can get is by either solving the South American Move and You're Dead disaster or Bolt from the Blue in the Indian Ocean. And that's going to be kind of tough. It's a strength of 9. Well, I think Parker is going to spend that technology token, and he's going to construct the neutralizer tractor. That would give us a +3 in solving that one in South America. So we'll get the neutralizing tractor out. So he's constructed the neutralizing tractor there, and now Parker's got 2 actions left. All right, I guess as an operation, Parker's going to move Fab 1 back into the bay, and we'll start moving back towards Tracy Island. So we'll take a next action to be a move. We'll move to Australia. And for the third action, he'll return to Tracy Island. And we'll probably end up loading in that pod unit that we just built. And that was M. Okay, all right. Okay, here's our disaster card draw. This is getting close here. We've got Sunrise on Mars. It's a space rescue. We gain benefits for Brains, Tintin, and John. Okay, so these cards are going to slide down. This isn't getting close. All right, this card is slid down to number 7 now. That's going to be a problem. And that's going to end Parker's activation. We'll move on to Alan Tracy. Well, we don't have much of an option. Alan is going to have to return to Tracy Island. And he's going to transfer into Thunderbird 2. And for his second action, he's going to move to South America. And for his third action, we're going to attempt to solve that move and you're dead disaster. All right, this takes place in South America. It's a strength of 8. We're going to gain +3 because we have the neutralizer tractor. And I believe that is all that we're going to gain from this. This is a land rescue, so he doesn't get any bonuses for that. Well, one other option we can do before we execute that, he has a special ability. Once per turn, you may draw a teamwork token for free if you're in Thunderbird 3. No, we can't. All right, so we're just going to give this a shot. We're going to be gaining +3 to the roll. We need a total of 8. Okay, here is his next action. We rolled a 7. 7 + 3 is 10. We've solved it. That is outstanding. That was a big. So we can gain any token we want. It says save Grandma from the girders of the San Miguel Bridge before the bomb detonates. All right, we can take any token we want, and I think Alan is going to take an intelligence token. That would be his third. All right. And that'll be all the actions for Alan. We're getting close. We can get one more intelligence token and get him to Europe, and then get Gordon to the moon with his 2 logistics tokens. We'll win. Okay, here's our disaster card draw. And we've got the hood advances. Advance the hood 1 space on the track. Do not advance any disaster cards on the track. That's good. And the flavor text is, it is useless to resist my power. Okay. All right, so the hood advances 1 space, and that's going to reveal an event, and I hope this isn't anything disastrous. It is pod hydraulics sabotaged. Thunderbird 2 may not load or unload Fab 1 or Thunderbird 4 until a character in its space discards a technology token. Oh boy, okay. Well, that's where we're at. The dice are going to pass now to Gordon Tracy, and we'll see what he can do. All right, Gordon's got 3 actions, and I think what he's going to do is transfer it back into Thunderbird 3, and for his action, he's going to fly back to Tracy Island. That's his first action. All right, I think for Gordon's second action, we're going to have him transfer into Thunderbird number 4. And then he has a special action he can do for his third action, and that is once per turn, you may spend an action to draw a determination token if you're in Thunderbird 4. So we'll do that. That'll gain him a determination token. And I believe that's all he's going to do. We'll see about our disaster card draw. All right, the disaster card draw is Security Hazard. It takes place at Tracy Island. Spend an action to avert this disaster when 6 characters are all on Tracy Island. All right, that might not be too hard to do. So these cards will slide down 1. All right, and then we'll pass the dice to Parker. We'll place a disaster token on Tracy Island to remind us about that security hazard. Now this is dangerous for us. If we attempt to solve one of these disasters and by chance we were to roll 2 hoods, we're going to lose the game. So if I don't have ability to re-roll those dice, we're taking a chance that we're going to lose the game. So this is really getting tough. All right, Parker is currently in South America. We could attempt to solve this Path of Destruction disaster. We would get +2 for, no we don't, Lady Penelope has to be in Europe, so that won't help us. I think what we'll do is we're going to have it spend his first action to return to Tracy Island. We'll do that. So we'll return to Tracy Island, and then we can solve the security hazard. It says if we have 6, spend an action to avert the disaster when 6 characters are all on Tracy Island. So that's what we're going to do. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I need to get that intelligence token to Alan Tracy. Otherwise, I'd have to get Parker and him both in Europe, so that would be a lot harder. Well, I think what we will do is we've got 2 actions left. Now, Parker has a special ability. It says you can take the move action to remotely move Fab 1 or Fab 2, even if you're in another space. So I think what I'll do is I'll transfer Lady Penelope into Fab 1, and then Parker's going to use both of his actions to move Fab 1 towards Europe, I guess. Fab 1 only has a movement value of 1 though, so we'll have to move there to Australia, I guess. That's the first action. Second action will be to move into Asia. All right. That's going to be all of Parker's actions. And here's our disaster card draw. And we've got the Moon Mine Menace. It takes place on the moon, a space rescue. We get bonuses for Gordon and John. All right. Okay, so these cards are going to slide down. We're up to 6. And that's going to be the end of Parker's turn. We'll move on to Alan. And Alan is going to begin, I think, with trying to solve that security hazard. So his first action will be to solve the security hazard. It says spend an action to avert the disaster when 6 characters are on Tracy Island. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've solved it. We can gain any token we want. And I think we're going to gain the intelligence token that we need. We'll give that to Alan Tracy. That was 1 action. So all we need to win now is to get Alan to Europe and to get Gordon to the moon. And we'd be able to solve that final scheme. So I think for an operation, we're going to move Alan into Thunderbird 1. And for his third action, we're going to fly Thunderbird 1 to Europe. That is a speed of 3. So we'll move 1, 2, and 3, and we're in Europe. Okay, all we got to do then is get Gordon to the moon, and we would win the game. Okay, here is our disaster. This one is the Twisted Wheel. It takes place on the moon. It's a space rescue. Bonuses for Brains and Parker and the Neutralizer Tractor. All right, we'll advance our tracks. Okay, so these cards will slide down. We're at 7. It's going to get close. That's going to complete Alan's turn. Now we'll move on to Gordon. And I think we've done it. Gordon is going to take an operation. He's going to transfer to Thunderbird 3. For his first action, Thunderbird 3 has a speed of 3. So we're going to move that 1 and 2 to the moon. And now let's examine the situation. The final scheme is Sea of Disquiet. We have to have 4 intelligence tokens in Europe and 2 logistics tokens on the moon. Well, Gordon has 2 logistics tokens and he is on the moon. So we've got those. Alan is currently in Europe. He has 4 intelligence tokens and we've won the game. How about that? All right, as we've won the game, Jeff Tracy is going to award us a trophy. In addition, I'm going to receive my International Rescue Agent Identification Card. I have to say, this is really a fun game that captures the television program as close as you can get it. I mean, you feel like you're part of International Rescue with this. This game was designed by Matt Leacock, and he's, I believe, also the designer of Pandemic. And I think you can see the similarities in this as with Pandemic. You're almost like playing whack-a-mole to try to keep these tracks from advancing, and at the same time planning out using your characters and the Thunderbird machines to get these die roll modifiers. It's absolutely a fantastic game, and I love it. Now, we played on the introductory level, so this game can go all the way up to an epic level where you're dealing with level 5 schemes. And if you want to have an idea of what these level 5 schemes are like, check this one out. I mean, Descent from Naboo. You've got to have these tokens on Mercury, you've got to have those tokens in South Pacific, and you've got to have 2 of the pod vehicles in Africa in order to solve that. I mean, that is extremely complex, and I can't wait to try this game at those higher levels, see how we do. And so that's going to wrap this video up. I hope you enjoyed this setup and playthrough video of Thunderbirds Cooperative Board Game, and it's a good one, folks. It really is. So this is Keith from the Solo Gamers Club, wishing everyone a pleasant day, and I look forward to seeing you again for our next video. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good evening. Good night.